Cut B4 is tape number 27, which is Excerpts by Carl Sandburg. The tape bears no date.
Wading through the chaos and confusion of our complex national, international, and local problems, we believe the time has come to consider the most important common denominator of all: man as a member of the human race, not as American, English, German, or Japanese, not man as Aryan, Jew, or Oriental, not man as white, black, or yellow, but man as God's greatest creation on this earth. The time is at hand when we must re-examine the institutions we have established, churches and schools, cities, states, nations, and all manner of organizations, and ask ourselves frankly what these institutions are now contributing to the happiness and well-being of humanity. Can we not agree that human liberty and respect for individual personality are among the greatest treasures civilization has produced? How then can we best preserve them? Today, in the name of national patriotism, man seems to be engaged in the task of creating gigantic monsters which will rend this civilization asunder. Is this inevitable, or can we hold the purpose of nationalism to the benefit of mankind? The eminently qualified speakers who are here tonight will help us in our own efforts to find the right answers to these questions. And now we come to a man who has written at great length, I understand the longest biography that's ever been written, about certainly one of the greatest Americans that ever lived, a great individualist and a great humanitarian. Of course, I speak of Carl Sandburg, the biographer of Lincoln. Mr. Sandburg.
The greatest need of mankind today is a combination of freedom and discipline holding sway over the earth among all nations and individuals. That sounds like something, but it doesn't mean a thing. Not unless, first of all, we come to a common agreement about what we mean by freedom and discipline. Lincoln saw this in his time when he said in '64, "The sheep and the wolf are not agreed upon a definition of the word liberty." And in thousands of written and spoken words, and by hundreds of acts and decisions, Lincoln gave the world his definition of liberty. A mystic, melancholy, involved definition of liberty. Not smooth, easy, and garrulous. As though you can't have liberty unless you are willing to pay a price for it. As though it costs you something every hour that you have it. And as though it is something that connects with human relations and human fellowship and your own personal development. Plainly, too, Lincoln taught that you can't have liberty under the present humanity unless there are common understandings as to authority. With freedom of any kind must go discipline and a spirit of cooperation, of yielding to others, and in degree giving yourself. He was on involved ground, Lincoln was, when he said, quote, "As labor is the common burden of our race, so the effort of some to shift their share of the burden onto the shoulders of others is the great durable curse of the race." Unquote. Whatever high blessing is the opposite of that great durable curse is the greatest need of mankind now. All of us, of course, would like to see some arrangement by which the idle rich and the idle poor could make a two-power pact to take care of each other. In this world of ours now is no common agreement at all on why either the idle rich or the idle poor are idle. When this lack of common agreement among us gets worse and worse till it explodes in the helpless violence of war or revolution, both men and nations, after the shooting is over, quote the old Kansas farmer saying, "We asked the cyclone to go around our barn, but it didn't." You might say that in this hour mankind's greatest need is a common agreement on the causes and conditions that have produced idlers at the top and bottom of society. Such an agreement would have to consider the vast mass of unspeakable, inarticulate, woe-begone human tragedy gathered under the head of that hideous but accurate phrase from the science of economics: the technologically disemployed. The people whose jobs have been abolished and destroyed by machines and new industrial processes and transitions. The extent to which this stream of economic misery is answerable for national and international turmoil is beyond the reckoning of any current commentator, but will be cast up in the balances of future historians. The answers hide in the course of events as swayed by deep forces which leaders merely exhibit. We need now, and need sadly, some common agreement as to where national territorial expansion or private profit in business and industry becomes just plain wolfish greed. Congressman Abraham Lincoln, when he took a stand against our country starting a war with Mexico for the sake of territorial expansion, shared with his friends the story of a farmer accused of being greedy for land. And the farmer had an answer. I ain't greedy for more land. No, I ain't greedy. I only want what John's mine. While we are trying to negotiate the antagonisms and contradictions that seethe around us, whirling us toward a national fate that today hides behind fog banks, there is vast need of a reverence for the human mind and spirit. Goethe called for more light. Victor Hugo stressed the word light. Thomas Jefferson hoped for a day when every newspaper would label its items under 4 heads. First, truth. Second, probabilities. Third, possibilities. Fourth, lies. Some of us take it as a good sign that in New York City has been established the Institute for Propaganda Analysis, and a further good sign that a score of leading universities and colleges have opened classes for study and discussion of propaganda, publicity, and advertising. Lincoln used the phrases debauchery of public opinion. Lincoln used the phrase drugging the public mind. The Japanese more politely term it thought control. Our more common word is propaganda. It has no hesitation about befouling the human mind with any motive, passion, or prejudice that will get results. And yet the supreme names, beloved and lasting in human annals, are those of men having reverence for the human mind, a respect and a wonder over the resources of the human spirit. As one historian has it, civilization rests on uncoerced diversity of opinion. Ben Franklin put it another way. Your doxy is orthodoxy, my doxy is heterodoxy. And it'll be a bad day when neither of us can have whatever doxy he likes. And Lincoln added light to the American dream in once saying, I have not willingly planted a thorn in any man's bosom. And once writing, I shall do nothing through malice, for what I deal with is too vast for malice.